My journey into the cybersecurity space is a little bit of a unique one, so I thought it might be worth telling. Hey, I'm Adam Hewitt, CEO and founder of Cyber Revolution. Now, the reason I think my story is worth telling is because I'm not a technical cybersecurity guy. I've never worked in a SOC. I've never actually worked in a cybersecurity role ever. However, I have been involved in the cybersecurity industry for 6+ years now, from an educational standpoint. And I wanted to tell you why I started Cyber Revolution 6 years ago now, and walk you through what's been a pretty amazing journey. For as long as I can remember, I've had a passion for education. I love learning new skills, and over the years, what I realized I loved even more was helping other people have that feeling too. Let's start with when I decided to go all in education. It was back when I was in high school. I really looked up to one of the PE teachers there, Mr. Arnold, if you're watching. I saw how passionate he was about teaching his students all about fitness, sport, determination, camaraderie, teamwork, learning new skills. Getting better each day was, his motto. And it just stuck with me. Like most people out there getting out of college, I had no idea what I wanted to do. A lot of my mates were keen to jump into the workforce straight away. I lived in Canberra, so you could land yourself a pretty cushy public service job. But a lot of them started trades. I was about as handy as a screen door on a submarine, so becoming a tradie was never an option. But I decided I wanted to go to uni and study. I had no idea what. So I went to all the careers days, looked at every option: commerce, business, physio, engineering. And whilst I had all of the surface level stuff like good pay and job security, I couldn't see myself enjoying it for the rest of my life. And I had the mindset that if you're going to do something like working, which takes up the majority of the time for the majority of your life, you should probably enjoy doing what you do. So with that mindset, I came across the option of doing education, specifically majoring in physical education. I was pumped for it. I enjoyed going deep into all things education, learning about how different people learn new skills, how you create learning in inclusive environments for your students. It was amazing. And I finished my 4-year degree. I loved it. Didn't love the $40,000 student debt, but I was too naive to even care about it then. And I was ready to start applying for my first PE teaching role. I crushed my studies, received really great reports and recommendations from all the high schools I did my placements at. I thought I was a shoo-in to get a job, only to find out that there were literally zero PE teaching roles open in Canberra. Not one. I just graduated with 150 other students, and there were 150 other students the year before us that were also looking for the same thing. So I thought to myself, what are they doing for work? So I asked one of them, and another, and another. They were all doing the same thing, working as a substitute teacher on call a few days a week at different schools around town. They said that the reality is you've got to do this for a couple of years, wait for a permanent role to come up in a department that won't be PE, something like English or maths, do that again for a few years, and a full-time role in PE might become available. My heart sunk. The idea of spending 5 years teaching everything but PE seemed counterintuitive to me. But I thought not doing anything and throwing away 4 years and tens of thousands of dollars did too. Plus, the money as a substitute teacher was pretty good. It was like $330 a day. You only had to work 8 till 3. So I did it for 18 months. And to be honest with you, it was a great lifestyle. I learned a lot about teaching, but I didn't feel fulfilled. And I also didn't feel like I was getting any closer to becoming a PE teacher. I was bouncing around schools, teaching anything from maths, drama, history, even cooking classes. I was doing a French cooking class with some students who were cooking crepes. And I had a moment where I was like, what the hell am I doing? So I quit and shifted careers into the vocational education space. I was working now for large RTOs, registered training organizations, and I realized their sole focus was getting the students certified, getting the piece of paper, the Cert 4 diploma, whatever it was, and they provided a great service, training and support, but those services literally stopped when the student completed the course. Off the student then went to seek.com, just like I did when I finished my degree. And so I started thinking this traditional education system might be able to be done better. I then moved into working for a non-accredited training company. So this basically means it focuses on skills, not certificates, not diplomas, just the outcome of getting better at what you want to do. I absolutely loved it. Seeing the results I got for the students based on real world training they were receiving and implementing was super satisfying. Looking back now, this wasn't intentional at the time, But over the period of like 6 or 7 years, I had experienced such a broad scope of education, from being a secondary school education teacher through to registered training organizations, through to skills-based training companies. And I thought to myself, there's got to be a way that I can bring all of my experience, everything I've learned, and create something for myself. So on to the next challenge. All I knew at the time is that I wanted to focus on education that had outcomes for the students, helping people actually get jobs in the field they'd worked so hard to upskill in. There were also a few really core components that had to be included for me. The first one was, I think the pieces of paper, getting the certificates, is important. I know that's not the opinion that everyone has out there, and everyone is entitled to their own opinion. But when you're applying for an entry-level role in a new industry, you don't have the luxury of showing off your previous skills. So a way of having proof you have the skills to potentially do the thing is certifications. Now, which certifications specifically in cybersecurity? There's a lot. That's probably for another video. If you want me to shoot another video on that, just comment down below and I'll get it done. Second one was hands-on practical skills or hands-on practical training. People retain the skill 80% better when they actually try it and do it. You can listen to someone talk and read books until the cows come home, but you need to get your hands dirty. Make mistakes, have breakthrough moments. You know, that aha moment, penny drop moment, whatever you want to call it. You only get that through doing it. And number 3, there needed to be outcomes for the students. I wanted to create a training company that looked at the job as half done once the student completed the course. This is the biggest thing throughout my experience that was lacking in the education system. It's the post-course completion care. Now, does that mean that you can just guarantee all of your students a job if they enroll in your program? No, of course not. It's not that easy. Finding a job or finding your first job in any industry is hard. That's why you need the help of experts. In fact, I had 4 young gentlemen, this is a few months ago. They showed up at our head office in Sydney, in Martin Place here in the CBD. I sat down with them and said, gentlemen, how can I help? Basically said they'd finished their 4-year master's degree in cybersecurity at uni, and they'd applied for 50 plus roles and they weren't getting anywhere, 0 responses. So I asked them, what roles have you been applying for? And they said anything and everything. Pen testing, cybersecurity analyst, ethical hacking. I thought to myself, ethical hacking, you need 5 years plus experience to even look at applying for an ethical hacking role. So I told them, guys, these aren't entry-level roles. These are mid-level or advanced level roles you're applying for. They had no idea what roles to apply for, and they were using a scattergun approach, thinking it was a numbers game. So I asked them a few questions like, what did you enjoy about your studies? What part of cybersecurity do you think you want to go into? And they wanted to go on the technical side. So I walked them through some entry-level technical roles like an incident responder, a tier 1 SOC analyst. And I said, look, you then have to tailor your applications specifically for these roles. This is just a perfect example of the traditional education system letting these 4 young men down. They just spent 4 years, tens of thousands of dollars, worked so hard to get their degree, and they had no idea what an entry-level role was or what they should apply for. So anyway, that's what I knew I wanted to do. Certificates, skills, job outcomes. These 3 things seem pretty obvious. It's not like I had a genius moment and come up with a new model that no one had thought of before. But why hadn't I seen it been done throughout my years of experience in education? What I was about to find out was because it's hard work. But before finding that out, what I also realized, to provide an end-to-end solution from training all the way through to job placement services, you have to specialize in one industry. You have to be niche. So the reason all of these big training companies that I'd worked for couldn't do it. They had thousands of students across, dozens and dozens of industries. So it was too hard to place and too hard to support all of those students. So I decided I had to pick an industry and go all in. Now, this was back in 2019, and cybersecurity starting to take off a little bit, not much here in Australia. After months of research, and there was the release of the National Cybersecurity Strategy from the government in early 2020, I knew cybersecurity was the perfect choice. Basically, this strategy said that the government was going all in and that there was going to be a skill shortage till 2032 in cyber. They were going to invest $9.9 billion over the next 10 years in the industry. Fast forward 6 years, and we've now been able to help thousands of students. It's been a pretty amazing journey. A few proud moments where we were actually voted the fastest growing education company in Australia by the Australian Financial Review, and the 26th fastest growing company in the country in general. So that's pretty cool. More recently, we have teamed up with the New South Wales government in an amazing project alongside some huge companies like Microsoft, ANZ, CommBank, to help entry-level people land their first role in the digital space through alternative pathways other than uni and TAFE, right? Super, super exciting. For me to be able to see these companies of this size with such a massive history actually change the traditional process for hiring entry-level talent marks a crucial moment for everyone that's looking to change careers into the digital space. It's super exciting, and it's a really proud moment as a smaller training company to partner with these large organizations that have the same vision as us. I still feel like there's a lot of work to be done to get to where we want to be, but that's the exciting thing. So that's it. That's my story in education over the past 13 years. I hope you found it somewhat insightful. This is an industry that I'll always be passionate about. It's something that I genuinely believe changes lives. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about a career change or potentially studying something, once you know what that might be, go all in and invest into yourself.